F100 Nation, Episode 8. Jason from Phat Fender Garage. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Have a really cool episode for you guys today. Had a chance to sit down and chat with Jason from Phat Fender Garage out of Arizona. Really a good guy who's doing some really neat things for the F100 Nation. We got to catch up a little bit about some of the builds that he's done, and overall just shoot the breeze about his feelings on the F100 market and where it's kind of headed. So we're going to hop into the podcast here and kind of let him tell us all about it.
All right. So I'm stoked. I appreciate you being willing to come on the podcast.
Yeah, you bet, man. I'm excited about it. I'm glad to hear that there's an F100 podcast because these C10 guys are everywhere. And I know the F100 guys are everywhere as well, but just not as organized. I guess as organized. The C10 guys are very organized, and they've got, a really good group of people out there and promoting their product well. And I think, the F100 guys need to step up their game a little bit. And I think they have been lately. And so it's good to see, someone's kind of taking the ball and running with it.
And it's a good time. I think, you're absolutely right. The C10 Talk and everybody there, that community is super strong. And,
yep.
Like you said, the F100 community is exactly the same. And so, I'm excited there's guys like you building these trucks and, getting behind the F100 push.
Yep, absolutely.
So, man, you got to, I want to hop right into this here. I know, you've got a pretty unbelievable thing going on with Phat Fender Garage down in Arizona. And
appreciate it.
You build some righteous vehicles. I mean, tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so, I when I started Phat Fender Garage, it really was just a little bit of a hobby. I wanted to mess around with some vehicles. My father-in-law had built a little small shop on some property, and I think he got a 1954 Chevy pickup truck that really kind of started it. He kind of took it in on trade. We fooled around with it, put a new wood bed in it, some new gauges, and took it to a shop, and they kind of did a really inexpensive paint job on it for $5,000, if you can imagine what that looked like. But it was okay, single stage paint. It was a 20-footer paint job, but it was fun, and we enjoyed it. We had a good time, and we, it was kind of a process for us that we enjoyed, just figuring it out. And honestly, we sold it, and we made a little bit of money, and we bought a couple more Chevys, and then one day I had seen this 56 Ford F100 with a big back window, and I thought, I want to buy that. I actually really was drawn to it. My grandfather drove Fords growing up, and so he always had the older, 73 to 79 Ford F100s, and so I was kind of used to that, but at the same time, this 56 really just it just drew me right in. And so we bought it, and that's kind of where it all began, is right there. We bought that one, then we bought another one, and then another one, and then honestly, we started looking at the 53s, the 55s, and really grew and had a love affair with the early F100s, and that's kind of how it started for us. And we didn't really build any vehicles for anybody. We just kind of built them for ourselves, flipped them, had a good time with it. That's kind of how it started.
Man, that's awesome. So did I see it right that you're moving into a new shop and a big new facility down there right now?
Yeah, so part of the process of us building our business, we had the original shop, 5,000 square feet, in kind of a 1 acre parcel, kind of a older area of Gilbert, Arizona, that, we we're kind of working out of, and we technically shouldn't be working on cars other than our own outside of, unless we're in a commercial building. And so we really were just behind a house, kind of hiding out for a really long time and hoping nobody would find us. And what happened was we got found out by the city, and they said, hey, you can't do this. And so I said, fair enough. So we were super busy, a lot of big projects coming up online. Really, we were just tight on space, and I needed to get more guys in, and it was finally time to take the plunge. So we moved. We're in the process of moving, currently working out of the new shop, and it's about 15,600 square feet.
Wow.
We definitely have, jumped into it full steam ahead, and hopefully it ends well for us, not like the Titanic.
No, man, it looks like you've laid, some really amazing groundwork with, the builds that you put out there. I mean, it just for example, that 72 F100 that you guys, finished and sent out the door. I mean, it was a long bed that you chopped down to a short bed. I mean, that's unbelievable that you matched that paint that well. And that was a killer build.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. You see F100s out there, and you hardly see 67, 72 short beds in good condition. And so they really are difficult to find. And so if you find one, it's a little bit of a unicorn. But you will find some of the most cherry long beds out there. Nobody wants them. I mean, they're long. I mean, they look 10 feet longer than a Chevy. And they just are huge. And so, I thought, man, what would it be like to cut one down? And so, we enlisted Kyle, who does a lot of the C10 beds and cuts them down. And so we kind of enlisted him and kind of got together and worked with him on cutting the sheet metal down and gave him an opportunity to learn it. We're too busy to do everything, so it worked out well. He gave it back to us. We kind of ran it through our paint shop, blended the paint, matched it. It really came together, and it was not that hard, actually. It actually cuts down better than any of the C10s because you can actually hide a lot of the joints. It's exactly 20 inches longer, just like the Chevys. They're exactly 20 inches longer, but I swear the Fords look 40 inches longer.
Maybe it's just the profile, or I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think it's the wheelbase. It's on the Chevys, I believe it's 12 inches and 8 inches, and on the Fords it's like 16 and 4. So I think the wheelbase is just a little bit longer, which causes that.
Gotcha. So, just kind of flipping through, tell me a little bit. You posted a video today that I saw. Well, I saw it pop up today of you kind of following that orange and silver. 56.
Yeah, so that 56 is bad to the bone. We built that for a customer who really wanted to do it himself and have us maybe, just do a few things on it. And then he actually had found out that he had cancer, and the treatments were kind of wearing him out, and he wasn't quite sure what would happen, and his siblings and daughter and everybody kind of urged him to just, get it done. And so I think this grew into much more of a project than even he anticipated. He wanted to go to SEMA, and he wanted it to be awesome, and he'd come up with, let's add a supercharger, let's add, all kinds of extra little features. And so we were testing out paddle shifters today. We were having a little bit of a issue getting the paddle shifters with the 6R80 automatic transmission to really work fluidly, a little bit of an interference, moving the antenna, getting the Bluetooth to work. And so we were out testing that out and going through the shifting on it and making sure it worked, and works awesome. A little hesitation with the Bluetooth, but other than that, works awesome. Paddle shifters in a 56 F100, supercharged, and it's really fun to drive.
That's next level.
Yeah, it's very cool.
So, I'm just going to kind of pick your brain because you've got so many cool builds. What about this teal F100 that you had laying on its frame in your parking lot?
Yeah, so that's going to be a really cool project. it's not completely under wraps, but it is a little bit under wraps. We are working with Porterbuilt suspension, and we've been in design with those guys for the last year, and we are really close to coming out with a full F100 line of all Porterbuilt components. And so, but we want it to be right. And so we'll be coming up with the kits and also full chassis for everything. Some really cool stuff, there's Nate with Porterbuilt. He's done an amazing job on some design work, and we've kind of been, sharing notes, and I helped him get some of the original scans on these frames so we could kind of speed this up. But so we're coming out with a 67 to 72 full chassis Porterbuilt suspension to lay frame. Typically it'll need a body drop because it's about 1 3/4 inches higher than the frame, and we want it to get within at least that 1/8 to 1/4 inch of touching the ground. And so a few modifications, we've kind of got all that worked out, and we should see that frame probably in the end of this month. But we're shooting to take this one to SEMA, and so. But we've got a pretty cool theme with it, and we're hoping it turns out well, and pretty excited about it. But it's going to be bad to the bone for sure.
That's Richter. That's amazing. I'm a little bit at a loss for words there. I mean, it's really, we've got a 53 to 56 F100 chassis that's coming out as well. We've got one on order. We've got a client in Virginia that we'll be doing a kit on for his truck. But the goal is to start producing product for the F100 crowd that's a good quality product. There's products that are out there that are decent, but not really high-end stuff. There's all kinds of guys that are producing low-end stuff. And there's a market for that. So I don't want to say that there's not a market for it. There definitely is. There's a big market for it. But for our shop and what we do, we really want to just kind of focus on the best of the best. It seems to be, it's what everybody wants, whether they can afford it or not, doesn't matter, but they like to see it. And customers that can't afford it definitely want it. And so we want to be able to offer it to them. And so you'll see the full line of F100 stuff come out this year. We'll start hitting the shows a little bit more and displaying it. We are the only Porterbuilt dealer that will be selling the F100 kits and chassis and keeping it in stock. Wow, that's phenomenal. Well, you guys need to go and give both of those guys a follow. If you want to follow this build, definitely head over to Instagram, follow at Phat Fender Garage, and just kind of follow along. What he's doing is amazing. I mean, yeah, just scroll down through his feed. You'll see that teal truck that we're talking about.
Yeah, the funny thing is that was kind of just mocking things up and trying to find center line of all the wheel openings, and so it really was nothing more than a shell, and the frame sitting underneath it without any suspension, and the wheels kind of tucked in the openings. So we wanted to be really precise that when we stood back and looked at it, and visually everything looked proper.
Man, and it looks. I mean, if it lays out like that, that's next level.
Yeah, it'll lay out 1 3/4 inches lower, but it's going to lay out like that for sure. It'll also be fuel injected. We're taking a look at some twin turbos and whatnot on there. So it'll be pretty sick when it's done.
So what you're saying is I need to stay an extra day so I can ride around in that thing at SEMA.
Telling you, man, it's awesome. It's awesome. Yeah, we've actually got a couple SEMA builds, but this is the F100. So,
man, that's really, really cool. So from there, I mean, what's next for you guys? Coming up,
Yeah, so we've got some more F100s. We're kind of in talks with someone producing a line of trucks that could be a la carte that you could pick and have it delivered in 6 months. So we've got a lot of cool things that we've kind of been kicking around and discussing and just making just a nice general platform. Pick your chassis, pick your motor, pick your paint color. It's all online. Here's your price. Get it in 6 months. So
really,
yeah. So we're kind of working on getting that kicked off here, hopefully in the next couple months.
Wow, that sounds fantastic. So what in that particular program? I don't know how much you can divulge, but in that program, what year ranges are you going to offer within that?
Well, we're going to start with the 53 to 56, the 67 to 72. And then hit those markets, and then we'll fall back down and gather up some of the others.
Man, that's really exciting. Really exciting.
You know, the hope is to be able to streamline the process some, and then basically systems become quicker, better, more reliable, and then be able to send these out the door with a 1-year warranty, bumper to bumper, and guys can trust it and have a good time with it.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to see that come along.
Yeah, me too. Feels like a lot of work, but it's definitely something we want to push.
So, do you have a daily toy that you that you rally around in?
I've got a 71 F100 that we did a coyote swap that we go cruise around in. Honestly, I rally around in all my customers' vehicles as well. I have a 56 F100 big window that I have done I actually did a Corvette suspension on it. There's a company called Fhat Engineering. I bought their kit a few years ago. It's independent front and rear, and so I had kind of put a C4 suspension underneath it, and I kind of like it. You know, it's got some pretty cool stuff, and so I'm probably going to stick with that, drop a coyote in it, kind of finish it up, just kind of keep it, you know, clean and classic. Nothing too crazy, but oh man, I've got a ton of stuff, man. I got a 67 that I own and just a bunch of stuff that we've goofed off with. Right now, my 72 long bed we cut down. I've got my 16-year-old. I let him using that as a daily right now. He loves it.
Ooh, I bet he does. I bet he feels like the coolest kid on the block.
Yeah, he loves it. He loves it. And so he just cruises that thing, and it's just a cool classic truck, and he drives it every day to school. He loves it.
Dude, I bet. I bet he's in hog heaven. So I'm kind of flipping through here, and these shirts, are you going to be selling any shirts or any apparel or anything like that these guys can go and pick up?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are. We've honestly, the website has been just the bane of my existence. You would think that we would be better at it, but we just get so busy, and I've been slow to hire people to do stuff. But since the move, we've made a few changes in personnel. You know, we're going to be able to take on more work, be able to do a lot more for people. And so we've got a guy that currently works for us and has for, you know, almost 2 years. He's going to kind of take over the website for me and all the social media and marketing that direction. And so the goal is to start, you know, getting some swag out there that, you know, people can buy and start promoting, you know, F100 nation, I guess, if you will, you know, that, you know, keep promoting the Ford stuff. And I don't have anything against the Chevy stuff. Honestly, we do a lot of Chevy stuff, and we don't always post a lot of the stuff we do, but we do a ton of Chevy stuff. But I love all trucks, but definitely our allegiances and loyalties tend to be, you know, with the F100 crowd for sure.
Well, there's nothing wrong with liking them all. I mean, me and my friends have discussions about this all the time. It's not, you know, you don't have to only be loyal to one brand. Cool stuff is cool stuff, and you know,
and I probably offended a bunch of people by saying that, right? You know, because there are guys that literally live and breathe and die Ford, and vice versa. But I like them all, and I have a hard time being completely, you know, a diehard. I like to tease all the Chevy guys on the other side a little bit, and they tease back, but it's all in good fun. But the reality is you know, Fords are awesome, man. I mean, there's some ugly ones out there too, but I like those as well.
Yeah, got to take the good with the bad.
You do, yeah.
Oh,
you sure
man.
do.
Well, I'm really digging what you guys have going on. I mean, and I really appreciate you taking the time to, spend a little time with me on the phone.
Yeah, you bet, man. It's a good thing you're doing, and I think it's something that definitely need to promote and share and kind of unify the F100 crowd and see what we can do to, make it grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'd love to circle back around with you once you guys kind of release the Porterbuilt deal, and as you kind of go through this SEMA build, as you're able to kind of put things out there, I'd love to have you back on to talk a little bit more about that and
you bet. Yeah, you bet. The cool thing is I as Nate and I have talked and gone over the stuff, he's putting it all out there. Like, he's taking all the things he's ever thought of and dreamed of and created in his mind, and I said, let's go, man. Put it on paper. Let's get that thing drawn up, and let's make it as cool as we can, and let's get that out there. And so there's going to be some really cool stuff that you see that are really going to kind of change the way people look at chassis and frames.
That's cool. Are you going to offer like just a front end kit, or
we are?
Going to be...
Oh yeah. No. So the goal is as we build the full chassis, it's very easy for us to also create the front end and rear end kits. So if somebody wants to just have coilovers, so we'll have a version of coilovers that works, that will get it really low. You may have to still modify your bed, 4 or 5 inches, maybe not, 12 inches, but you'll have options, and you can just use your frame and put a kit front and back. Absolutely. So.
Wow. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. It's gonna be cool. It should take off. There's some good companies out there that are, Chevy chassis guys are trying to convert over to the Ford stuff because they're realizing the Ford stuff is, starting to really take off. But so far, what I've seen really has just been kind of the same old. And we really want to try to bring something out that people will be like, wow, that's awesome. I've got to have that. So.
Well, it's on my list. I'll put it on my wish list as soon as they're ready.
Yeah, nice.
But cool, man. I'd love to hear all that you guys are heading over, liking, following his what he's got going on. Instagram, Facebook. Check out his website. Jason and Phat Fender Garage. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having us.
It was great to have Jason on the podcast. Pretty excited about what they have going on with Porterbuilt, with the new front ends and rear ends and complete chassis for the 67 to 72s. I think that's really going to serve the F100 Nation in a new way that we're all kind of looking for. So looking forward also to kind of circling back around and chatting with him about his SEMA project as they can kind of divulge a little bit more there. But you guys, if you have a chance, make sure you head over and follow him on Instagram at Phat Fender Garage, or you can check him out on Facebook, Phat Fender Garage AZ. We'll pull his page right up. They've got some really cool things going on. It's worth following and seeing what they got coming up next. So thank you guys again for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you have an opportunity, hit the subscribe button, like it, share it, comment, tell your friends, and we'll catch you next time.